Okay, let's look at two-step equation story problems. So if we read the directions, it says we're going to write an equation and solve it to answer each question. Be sure to assign a variable. Now I will tell you that it's actually not impossible, pretty easy, to solve all of these using regular arithmetic that you learned in elementary school. The skill that we are trying to develop is the ability to model a problem, represent a problem with an equation. And the equations, as we go through middle school and then start high school, will get more and more complex. So it's important, while they're still fairly easy and it's easy to check the answers, that we are writing the equation and getting that part down. All right, so we'll take a look at number 1. Daniel bought a magazine for $5 and 8 candy bars. He spent a total of $37. How much did each candy bar cost? All right, so when it says to assign a variable, that means we're going to pick a letter to represent what we're looking for, and that shows up in the question. How much did each candy bar cost? So let's use the letter C. So C is the cost of a candy bar. And we write that just to remind ourselves, what does that letter stand for? What is it going to help us do? So he bought, if we go back to the beginning, he bought a magazine for $5. I'm going to start with that. It's the beginning of the story, so our equation is going to tell the story in just a shorter format. And then he bought 8 candy bars. So we don't know what the cost of those candy bars are, but we know that there's 8 of them. So he has $5 plus 8 times whatever the cost is for one candy bar. That's how much he spent in all. And it tells us he spent a total of $37. So if I take the $5 for the magazine and the 8 candy bars, that's going to equal $37. So now that we've written our equation, everything just goes back to the rules for two-step equations. We want to get the term that has C in it by itself. So the first thing we want to do is take care of this positive 5. We want to change it into 0. So we use the opposite of positive 5, and we will subtract 5, or you can think of it as negative 5, and that cancels this out. And then we bring down the 8C. Over here we have 37 minus 5, which is 32. Now that we've done that, we only have a one-step equation left. 8 times C is 32. So to get rid of multiplication, we divide. So you divide this side by 8. That gets C by itself. Divide this side by 8, and we get 4. So if we go back to what it wants, how much did each candy bar cost? We can label that. We know that each candy bar cost $4. In the next lesson, we will focus on how to write out the answers as a sentence and do a little bit more with this, but for now we're just going to leave that answer like that. We'll just put a label on it. All right, let's look at number 2. You bought a magazine for $7 and some candy bars for $4 each. You spent a total of $35. How many candy bars did you buy? This looks like the same kind of problem, but it's changed a little bit, because on the last problem, our variable stood for the cost of a candy bar. Now we're looking for the number of candy bars. So we can still use C if we want to, but we need to make sure we note it's the number of candy bars bought. Okay, so that's what we're looking for.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yourself?